Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are going to go over our first in-depth commander guide. And by popular demand, the United States wins out, and then we'll do Japan next and finish with UK. But those are all going to be separate videos, so you'll have to tune in for which nation you prefer. Now, very first thing that I get asked all the time about commanders is, how do you unlock commanders? Well, there's two ways to do it. You can go to campaign and missions, and in the campaign and missions you can I don't know about the campaign trials, but in very specific missions and campaigns you can get commander crates as a reward. Trying to find one that may have a commander's crate here, just to show you real quick. Okay, so apparently there isn't any commander's crates currently available, but this is where you can find them for free. You just have to complete the objective and you can get them for free that way. So you can see there's quite a bit going on right now with the campaign trials, which I believe is for the Arizona at the moment. So let's go ahead and talk about the Arizona real quick as well, just real quick. If you finish your missions for the Arizona, a lot of people were complaining that you have to buy the oh, whatchamacallit, what do they call that? I'm at a loss at the moment. Oh no, I can't remember. What did they call it? Premium backing or some sort. We'll just call it that. But you have to buy that, right? Which is 2,500 gold, right around 10 bucks. Okay, so you can do that, or there's going to be another op that's going to allow you to earn 2,500 doubloons. So keep that in mind. You may, if you're able to finish everything, not have to pay a dime for the Arizona. But it's going to be a lot of grinding, if I had to guess. So keep that in mind. But we're not here about that. We're here about the commanders. So let's get into the commanders. Also, if you need to open containers, you can go right down here. So use your D-pad, go down to containers, open it that way. So yeah. And since we're talking about everything anyway, right here in the store is where you can buy more commanders crates and all of that good stuff as well. There's also always a free container here. It's called the basic container. It'll say free as the price that you can collect every 24 hours. It used to be over here the last time I did a video on it, but now they've moved it over into the smaller area, so keep that in mind. Also, these are 3 commander crates for $37.50, so that's at a bit of a discount, I believe. So if we go over here to the containers using the right bumper, you can see, oh, $37.50 is where it's at. Okay, I thought maybe it was a discount. Sometimes you can get them on discount. But anyway, so enough with that. That's how you get commander's crates. You can either get it in campaign and missions, or you can buy them with doubloons in the store. I've gotten several for the campaigns, but I also bought quite a few as well, which is why I currently have 2.3 million commander XP, because here's a fun thing. If you get a commander that you already have, it gives you 90,000 commander XP, which is a lot. So I currently have 2.3 million commander XP. But anyway, moving on, the reason we're all here. Let's go ahead and talk about the American commanders and which ones are best for which. Now there's a lot to choose from, but let's start with George Dewey. Let's look at just the easiest way to tell what somebody's going to be good at. So his base trait, and that's the first thing I always look at. His base trait tells me that he increases torpedoes' visibility range. Well, that's kind of androgynous, or I don't know. It'll work well against everything, like whether it's cruiser, destroyer, or battleship. Everybody wants to see torpedoes from further away, right? That's generally how that works. But if you go over here to his actual skills, you can see that he's got a increased travel speed of torpedoes. So right off the bat, that's probably not best for your battleships, right? Because you don't get torpedoes. And also, high-tier American cruisers don't get torpedoes. So this is pretty much going to be a destroyer, but he has other perks as well, like Burn It Down XXL, which increases the chance of HE fires with 140 millimeters and above, which means for cruisers and battleships you have a better chance of causing fires with your HE round, because the destroyers have 127 millimeter guns, so that would be too small. But yeah, so then you go down and we look at his skills. Look at me now. Increase ship concealment rating. Now, this is one thing that I will say. He's a starting captain, just like Raizo Tanaka, just like Andrew Cunningham. The starting commanders are kind of jack of all trades, because it's going to be the only one you have for a while, potentially. So they can spec into whatever you need to spec them into. So if you've got George Dewey and you want a cruiser captain, or you want a battleship captain, or you want a destroyer captain, there are skills here that you can choose to make that better for that thing. And the best part is you can use the same commander all the way across your tree, and you can just respec into each one before you start a match. So say I'm going from a torpedo boat to a battleship. Well, we don't want contact is imminent, so we would change to either increasing ramming damage or most likely burn it down. Okay, and then say we go into here, the next one we got Look at Me Now, which is increase the ship concealment, or increase main battery traverse speed, or increase torpedo visibility range even further than the base trait already gives you. So you can see that there's quite a bit of options here for this particular commander, because he is the jack of all trades. He can do well at anything, but he's not a specialized commander, and those are what I want you guys to pay attention to. So we're just going to go ahead and leave him, and like I said, it doesn't cost a cent to change any of this. The one thing I will tell you is when you get over into the inspirations. Now, if you're going to change an inspiration, you're going to have to play a few matches, and I'll show you. Say, let's see, what do we currently have? We have gain HP bonus per ship tier, right? Say we want to go into a precision of the cruiser's main guns. It'll give me a 2% increase in the precision of the cruiser's main guns. That will take 7 battles before it becomes active. So anytime you switch an inspiration, it takes a while for that commander to gain that trait. So definitely want to not change these very often. Now, it doesn't cost you anything other than 7 battles you'll have without an inspiration. So keep that in mind. Inspirations are very nice, and that's where I start getting into the stacking of bonuses. Alright, so we've already looked at George Dewey. We've discovered that he is a jack of all trades kind of commander. Now we're going to go into Norman Scott here. Norman Scott, right off the bat, his base trait says increase the main battery precision of your cruiser. What's that tell you, guys? He is a cruiser commander, right? If his base trait has something to do with increasing the precision of your cruiser specifically, then more than likely he's going to have a lot of stuff that helps cruisers. And that is kind of nice. So, as you can see, I have the inspiration of Isoroku Yamamoto. He is a Japanese commander, and his base trait is right through confrontation skill. Okay, it enhances the armor-piercing capabilities of your cruiser shells, giving you more penetration on your cruisers. Okay, as long as it's the AP shells, and as you can see, it's a 2.1% AP shell penetration multiplier. Okay. Some other skills that you can look at is reduce engine boost consumable. That's for a destroyer. You want increase the concealment of your cruiser if you want to be sneaky in a cruiser. You've got the Phoenix ability here, Increase the maximum amount of HP restored by repair party. That's going to be for your battleship, guys. Unless, of course, you got a British cruiser, because they can use them as well. Because British cruisers are basically battleships. Then we've got increased concealment of your battleship. So you can see where the inspirations can really stack up to help your bonuses over the entire tree. So, again, we are at the base trait of increasing the main battery precision, and we are currently a level 8. Okay, so we're a rank 8, which if you look up in the top left, I guess I could have already told you that. I didn't have to go down and count them. But you're a rank 8. So if you look over to the right on directed impact, which is our base trait, you can see that on rank 9, I would get an upgrade from 2% of the precision, so bonus to dispersion, to 2.25%. So each time you level up, not necessarily every time you level up, but I think it is on the base trait. I think the base trait, it does every single time you level up, it gives you a bit more of a bonus. But anyway, so let's look at his skills. We've got Burn It Down, which again, we already talked about. 140 millimeters and above increases the chance of causing a fire, or increase the main battery range of your cruiser. Now, cruisers are the mid-range guys, right? You got destroyers who are usually up close and personal. You've got your battleships, who are the standoff fighters, the guys that are at the back generally. You can sail up in there, but generally speaking, big, fat, slow, sailing into small, tight areas to fight multiple ships, bad plan. But stay back, deal the massive hits on people. But the cruisers are kind of the mid-range. They're the medium tanks. We've got speed to keep up with destroyers. We've got decent armor. We've got great guns, and some of us have torpedoes. So we can do a little bit of everything. So increasing the main range, or the range of your cruiser's guns, is actually pretty significant. Because generally cruisers are, what, about 12 kilometers or so on their range that they can fire. So if you're increasing that, you're increasing the range for the standoff. You don't have to be as close. Also, when you are shooting at maximum range, you get the bonus chance for the what do you call it? The plunging fire, where the shells are coming straight down through the top of a ship and pretty much ignores armor, because most of the ships are made out of wood on the deck. So they just go straight through the deck, which is going to be thinner than the main armor on the sides. So, and you can get some nice citadels that way. But anyway, so I've selected Beyond Range because I like the extra range on my American cruisers because of the Pensacola and the New Orleans. You no longer get torpedoes, so you don't want to be up in there. You want to stay back more like a battleship, but as a support role as well. You've still got amazing guns with 203mm guns when they're upgraded. So being able to sit back, protect your battleships, and go in when needed to chase down destroyers and take out destroyers is fantastic. So having that extra range is nice. Now, we've got increase the chance of causing fire with your cruiser's main battery or second battery. So that's always a good thing. You want a chance of causing fires. Now, if you really wanted to, you could stack these. These will stack. So you could get the 1% there. Of course, it'll rank up again to 1.5%. And then, of course, you've got 2% here, which will go up to 2.5%. Or you could choose increased torpedoes visibility range, which is never a bad thing. But if you're paying attention, you can pretty much avoid most torpedoes in a cruiser. You just got to pay attention. Know when you're being fired upon before getting yourself into a bad position. Now, our next skill that we have is Punch Through. Increase the armor-piercing capability and maximum damage of your AP shells on your cruisers. So, another one of those. Now, we already have this, which is 2.1% extra penetration. And then we go down here, and we have 5% and 3% on the penetration and the damage. And, of course, that goes up even pretty significantly on rank 14 to 8% and 5%. So, very nice. Otherwise, you can increase the maximum speed of the ship, which is never necessarily a bad thing. if you need to be chasing people down quite a bit. Personally, I prefer the guns to do the talking rather than my engines. And then armed and ready. Enable a warning indicator of the number of enemy ships currently targeting your ship. I mean, honestly, it's nice because of the fire dispersion, so people shooting at you will have a wider dispersion chance. So that would be a good bonus, but personally, I'll take the damage and the penetration over that, personally. Then we've got Fixated. Increase the precision and accuracy of your cruiser main battery. That's the dispersion bonuses. So, as you can see, just by judging the base trait, we were correct in assuming that this is a cruiser captain. Almost all of his skills are specifically for cruisers. So, for an American cruiser, he's a very good commander. So, again, dispersion of the main battery and precision of the cruiser's main guns, both increased there. So definitely a good thing. Or you can go with faster rudder shift and steering gear repair, or you can reduce the reload time of your cruiser's main batteries. Another amazing trait. But I like personally having the groups tighter together, because more hits on target increases your damage better than reloading a couple seconds faster. So keep that in mind. You can reload as fast as you want. If you're not hitting the target, you're still not doing damage. Whereas with this, you're able to hit the target more often, even though it doesn't seem like much when you're talking 2 or 3%. But it is a pretty significant bonus over the standard standards. But now, William Halsey. Now, I just unlocked this guy. He was the last commander on the Americans that I actually needed. I haven't had a chance to look at him, but his base trait right off the bat, increase the AP shell damage of your destroyer. That, for an American destroyer, would be fantastic because they are gunboats. So being able to do even more armor-piercing damage when you're citadeling the side of a cruiser who's gone broadside onto you is pretty significant. But as you can see, I just unlocked him. I haven't put any points into him or anything like that. But let's look at his skills anyway. We've got Contact is Imminent, which we already know is the travel speed of the torpedoes. Then we've got Observant Rage, which is reduce the main battery reload time of your destroyer and improve the torpedo detection at the cost of slower rudder shift. So you won't be able to turn quite as fast, but you can see torpedoes further away, and your reload time is further decreased, which, again, American destroyers' guns are fantastic. So having a buff to your reload speed on a destroyer that has very good guns to begin with, pretty significant. And then, of course, his second tier, we've got Mortar. Enhance your destroyer's shell damage at the cost of increased ship visibility. So you're able to be detected from further, but you get a bonus to damage. So this damage, plus having, this damage starts to add up, and you can start to get pretty nice little bonuses to your damage to your guns, or from your guns, on this particular commander. And the other thing is, concealment rating. His third tier, back in stock, reduces the torpedo tube's reload time. He's a destroyer captain, so it makes sense that you would maybe want to go with, torpedoes take the longest to reload, but they also do the most damage. So getting them back as quickly as possible, never a bad thing. You can increase the main battery traverse speed of a destroyer and show the direction of the nearest ship. Personally, I don't think this is a thing that you need to spec into, due to the fact that it is an American destroyer. Well, first of all, it's a destroyer, period. So the turrets turn pretty quickly. It's an American destroyer, so they're very, very good. And do you really need to see the closest enemy ship? I mean, ships are generally pretty big. If you're missing them, you're doing your job wrong. You should be able to see them. Reduce the reload time of the main and secondary batteries of less than 140 millimeters. So that would be perfect for an American destroyer. So this commander is definitely a destroyer captain. I mean, we've already showed the base trait. All of these nice perks for extra damage and stuff for destroyer guns and the 140 millimeters or less, which is really nice. Then increase the maximum HP of your destroyer, but you get a little bit lower speed. Probably not the best. You don't generally want to get shot in a destroyer to begin with, but I would not want to trade speed for HP unless it was significant. You know, that would be my thing. I wouldn't want to drop speed in a destroyer. It just, yeah, definitely not. Cloudy days, reduce engine boost consumable reload time at the cost of diminished smoke generator capabilities. So your engine boost cools down quicker, but your smoke screens go way faster and don't last as long. It'd be smoke generation or generator duration. So you may not get as many smoke areas out. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember what exactly it is. I don't use them all that often, but say you were able to get 6 zones of smoke out. They're not going to stay up as long, but with this you might only get 5 zones of smoke out before it has set the smoke screen. So that's what that is. And then the other thing, increase the smoke screen deployment time as well as its duration. This is literally the opposite of this, with the exception of it has no effect on your engine boost reload time. So this is just a bonus to your smoke, which is a good thing if you like helping your teammates out or if you just like to sit in your smoke. So definitely a great destroyer captain right there. William Halsey, probably going to be my pick for destroyer captain once we get there, but we'll look at the other ones. Willis Lee is a new one as well. Haven't had a chance to look at him, but with his first base trait, which is where you start at, let's look at what he's got. Reduce flooding duration as well as damage control party reload. Well, right off the top of my head, that kind of sounds like a battleship captain. You're going to be going for the tank role, right? So you're going to be getting hit with torpedoes, and you want that damage control reloading as quickly as possible. So this sounds kind of like a battleship captain, but we'll see if I'm right. So we go over here. Not one for the nuisance. Reduce the risk of catching fire or flooding even further. So maybe he's not just a battleship captain. Maybe he's a everything captain, because now you've got an even bigger bonus. So you get 1% there, and then you get another 2% here. So that gives you... Okay, so this is actually duration of flooding being 1% less, and then this is the chance of flooding 1 or 2% less, and catching fire. So yeah, never a bad thing. Which one would I go here? Okay, so the Brawler increases torpedo detection capabilities and reduce the reload time of your battleship's main guns. So this is a battleship skill. Then we go down here. Increase the main battery traverse speed. Again, not bad, but that's across the board. It doesn't matter if you're a destroyer, cruiser, or battleship. Then you've got increased secondary battery range. This will be for your cruisers and your battleships. And firefighters, so again, damage control repair or damage control party reloaded faster. Risk of catching fire minus 3%. That is a huge bonus. So if you put that with this, you've got a 5%, and then it'll obviously rank up after that as well. So there's a minus 5% chance of catching fire total. And then of course the damage control party duration is reduced as well. Which isn't necessarily the best, but if it's more effective, or if it reloads faster, then I guess that's a thing. Reduce shell type switching. This is actually a good perk for a cruiser, especially. Also for a battleship, but battleships gets better perks anyway as far as using other battleship perks. They're like we talked about already. But in this one, it's pretty significant. You get a 15% reduction in reload time if all of your main batteries are loaded and you switch from AP to HE, which is pretty nice. Not as good as other ones that I've seen, but it's still not bad. Increase the maximum range of the main battery by 1%. Master Mechanic, increase the amount of HP restored by the repair party. So this is another one of those tanky skills for a battleship. So you get an extra 3% of your HP recovered per use. Plus you get 1 extra repair party. That's a huge, huge bonus. I could see this guy being a turtle class, you know what I mean? You're not gonna be the amazing dispersion, but the staying power in a fight could be fantastic with this guy. And the other is enhance the rudder shift speed of your battle, or the rudder shift and your battleship's main battery traverse speed at the cost of lower accuracy. So you're not going to be as accurate, but you turn a little bit quicker and you get a faster traverse speed on your battleship's guns, which is always a good thing because battleships have ridiculously long traverse speeds. Alright, so that's Willis Lee. He's kind of a battleship slash everything role, but mostly battleship, cruiser, tank class, if you want to go into like a dreadnought. Now, William Sims, this is my battleship captain, I believe, that I currently have. He gives me the bonus for ship tier, HP. But if you go over here, my inspiration that I have is Andrew Cunningham. Andrew Cunningham is the stock, the starting commander for the British, and his base skill is increasing the main battery precision of your battleship by 1.75%. At 7. So I'm at Mastery 7 at the moment. So currently I have a 1.75% increase to the dispersion. So definitely a good thing. So that's one bonus to dispersion. Now if we go over here to his skills, we've got Flammable Cannoneer, which increases your battleship's main battery range and precision at the cost of a higher chance of catching fire. So I can shoot farther and they're more accurate, but I get a significant risk to catching fire. Now because of the repair party and being able to restore your health, I don't mind catching fire. So definitely I don't mind in a battleship catching fire if I get to be more accurate and I get to shoot further away. Huge, huge bonus for a battleship. Okay, now gyrating drill bits. This is the increase the main battery traverse speed and armor piercing shell damage of your battleship at the cost of decreased maximum speed. So I can't quite travel as fast. I'm 7% less fast than other battleship, or than the same battleship without this particular skill. But my traverse speed of my battleship's guns are faster, which is significant, almost a full degree per second at the current rank. Once I get up to 12, it'll be 1.2. And then, of course, the damage goes up as well. 6%, which for a battleship is pretty significant when you're citadeling people. If you look, the increased main battery traverse speed, so, I mean, 0.8 per second or 0.6 per second. So you get 0.6% on your traverse speed here, or you can get 0.8%, plus you get more damage, and you lose only 7% of your speed. So definitely kind of a no-brainer there. Marksmanship. Increase the battleship's main battery precision at the cost of diminished rudder shift. So again, we're having a trade-off. We're more accurate, but it's slower to turn. Personally, that's a good trade-off. Battleships are already slow. I already assume that I need to pay more attention when I'm in a battleship to begin with, because they're so slow. But getting a 5% bonus to dispersion is pretty significant. And then on 14, when I get there, it'll be a 7% bonus to dispersion. Or on second thought, you get this, which is a fantastic shell switch time. Again, all main batteries have to be fully loaded, but if you switch, it's 30% reduction at the current mastery rank, or when you get to rank 14, you'll have a 45% reduction in reload time, which is huge. I mean, that's basically cutting your reload in half if all of your guns are loaded and you switch. That's pretty nasty. And I think there was actually one that was even higher than that. I think there was one for 75%, but I think it was a cruiser skill. But we'll check that out. Reaching out, again, increasing the maximum range, increasing the well, this doesn't increase the accuracy, but increases the range by another 2%. Or you can go with survivability, have damage control party reload time reduced, or increase the spotting radius of enemy torpedoes, but you decrease the number of repair party that you have. That's probably not preferable. That being said, the bonus is pretty significant. So if you were to take this skill, you lose one of your repair parties, but did we get one from up here, or was that the other commander? Thinking it was the other commander. Okay. Yeah, I got a little bit. I was going to say, surely you can't take this and the other skill to negate it, so you would have the stock number of things, but no. So definitely going to stick with the reaching out, because being able to shoot further, definitely a thing. And with battleships, again, any percent increase on a battleship's range is huge, because they're the ones that shoot the furthest anyway. So that's why he's my battleship captain. But let's look at Arleigh Burke. So right off the bat, increase the main battery precision of your destroyer. So right there, first thing you see, this guy's probably a destroyer captain. So what do we got? Increase the travel speed of torpedoes, or incoming splash damage is reduced. Not bad. That actually probably would be a really good one for destroyers, because you're constantly getting hit with HE. So if you're able to reduce that, I could see that being a big perk. But I like faster torpedoes, because faster torpedoes. Flanking speed, so being able to go faster, but you get a slower rudder. That's pretty hand in hand. The faster you go, the longer it takes to turn, that sort of thing. Look at me now. Increase the ship concealment rating. Probably a good one, but being able to have that extra speed is kind of nice. Then we have improved the destroyer's main battery accuracy and precision while lowering the ship's maximum HP. Now here's where you're having a big trade-off. You've got more accurate guns and less dispersion of the gun. I'm not sure why they have those as separate, but apparently they are separate. So they're more accurate and there's less dispersion, but you lose 5% of your hit points. Again, don't make a habit out of getting shot in your destroyers to begin with. You probably are not going to notice it too much. Or you can reduce the torpedo tube reload time. Not too bad. It's only a 2% decrease, or at max it'll be 4%. So actually it'll go up to probably 6% maxed out. Or you can reduce the reload time of your destroyer's main guns. Personally, I like the dispersion. Again, being able to put more rounds on target, always a good thing. Then we've got the sidestep skill. Increase the main battery range of your destroyer, as well as incoming shell dispersion at a cost of diminished rudder speed. So we've got incoming fire dispersed even more than usual. The range of my guns is increased, but it takes longer for my destroyer to turn. 10% on the rudder shift time of a destroyer. I mean, you could say that's a big increase, which it is, but it's still going to turn pretty quickly. And then you could use things like slowing down and turning in a little bit to speed it up even more, to kind of get away from that rudder shift issues. Otherwise, you get to increase the smokescreen deployment time as well as its duration, or increase the risk of your crew or your destroyer to cause fires. So you get a plus 1% increase in chance of causing a fire, but you get less damage per shell So I don't know if that would be worth it, to be honest. I mean, you're doing 1% more chance of actually starting a fire, but every shot that hits that doesn't start a fire is still going to be 7% less powerful. Not a very good trade-off. So I think I'll stick with the sidestep. But that's the destroyer guy. And let's look at, here we go. Mr. Thomas Kincade. Look at it, and right off the bat, sonar reload time. That tells me he's a cruiser captain right off the bat, because the only ones that have sonar, other than British, what do you call them? British destroyers, I think, get the sonar as well. But anyway, so sonar reload time, most likely cruiser, especially because he's American, so definitely cruiser. Burn it down, we already know what that is, 140 millimeters and above, causing fire. So cruisers definitely going to take advantage of that. Or ingenious, reduce the incoming splash damage and increase the speed of your cruiser's guns traverse. It's not bad. That's a pretty good perk, to be honest. And it gives you a warning indicator showing the number of enemy ships shooting at you. So, I mean, that seems like a pretty good perk. Gives you the warning indicator, gives you less splash damage received, and faster gun traverse. Or you can get a little bit of a bonus to chance of causing fire. Probably would go with ingenious. Full speed ahead gives you better rudder shift and higher speed. Torpedo visibility range, probably go with the speed and the rudder shift. Seems like a good combo. Sponge, reduce incoming damage to your cruiser again. So this is again one of those cruisers, and this actually would probably be pretty good for the American cruisers, for the fact that you can build. They're already tanky enough because they don't get torpedoes. They're heavy and they have the big guns. But you add these perks in here as well, you can actually get their ability to tank more damage quite a bit. So your modules take less time to repair, get more HP before being knocked out, and you take reduced damage from other cruisers. Otherwise, you could choose to reduce the incoming fire again, or you could go faster. I would probably choose this one because I don't get a whole lot of modules knocked out completely. So I would probably end up going with the dispersion incoming. This is like having permanent premium camo on you. You get an extra 5% to the incoming fire dispersion. Otherwise, reduce the damage party consumable reload and increase its duration. So this reduces the reload and also makes it last longer, which means during the time that it's up, when you first pop it, it'll stay up longer, allowing you to not take fire or flooding damage for a certain amount of time. That's kind of nice. Or increase the sonar consumable duration and reduce its reload time while adding extra charges. This is huge. So it lasts longer, it takes less time to reload, and you get an extra one. Sonar is huge in against destroyers. They're hiding around islands. If they're in that 4.5 kilometer area and you pop that, you're going to see them. They shoot those torpedoes at you, you're going to see those from 4.5 kilometers out. Gives you all day to turn. So being able to get an extra one, huge. And then rudder shift time and steering gear repair time. So, upon looking at all of that, I will be right back, and I will see you in a moment. Alright, so we are back, and just to go back over these real quick, we have General Purpose George Dewey. We have Cruiser Captain Norman Scott. We have Destroyer Captain William Halsey. We have Battleship Tank Captain, right? Let me double check. Just making sure I don't tell you guys the wrong things. Okay, so yeah. This is just going to be your battleship tank captain. You could make an argument for cruiser tank as well, but I'll go back over that. I think there's a better option for cruiser tank. But for battleship tank captain, if you're wanting to get the most out of staying power, and you don't mind not having the bonuses to dispersion and stuff you get elsewhere, and keep in mind, you can always add that in your inspiration. Remember, Andrew Cunningham from the British, you get that inspiration right off the bat. So you can pop that in there, and then within 7 games, you'll be having a better dispersion anyway. But this is Willis Lee is your battleship tank captain. William Sims is your battleship dispersion captain. That's my preferred captain for my battleships. Though I may do some experiments with Willis Lee at some point, because that does have me interested anyway. Arleigh Burke was destroyer. And this is your destroyer gunner, your gunner destroyer captain. And then Thomas Kincade was our cruiser tank. Yeah. So Thomas Kincade is a good one for cruiser tanking. So that actually might be 2 experiments that I want to try out at some point during the future. Willis Lee and Thomas Kincade. Willis Lee for battleship tank and Thomas Kincade for cruiser tank. I've got plenty of experience there to fool around, so I might do that. But hope you guys have enjoyed. Sorry that this took so long, but I really, really wanted to give you guys an in-depth look at all of the skills of these guys and give you my personal favorites for the ones that I prefer for each of the things. Now, William Halsey for the destroyer captain, I may be looking at that because I just got him. I haven't had much chance, but yeah, as you can see, Norman Scott, Arleigh Burke, and William Sims have been my 3 commanders that I've started using quite a bit. George Dewey was initially because I didn't have very many commanders, so he got up there pretty quick as well. So, again, hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned. I will put up a video on the Japanese commanders very soon, and then follow it up with UK commanders to give everybody that in-depth look at their commanders for each class and each nation. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.